Hi, welcome to our channel. My name is Veronica, and for those that don't know me, I am the operations manager for Passive Workforce. At Passive Workforce, we help people wanting to break into the entrepreneurship world in healthcare, helping them build their home care agencies and their medical staffing agencies. In today's video, I want to address 5 questions that I get asked all of the time from people that are trying to start medical staffing agencies. If you find this video helpful, definitely leave us a like and a comment below so we have a chance to answer to your own questions in the upcoming videos. The first question, and this is naturally one of the first things that people worry about when they're trying to start any business, but the first question is, do I need a license to start a medical staffing agency? The reality is that it all depends on your state and where you're planning to conduct business. Right now, in 2024, when I'm recording this video, the vast majority of states are already requiring agencies get licensed with the Department of Health, but there are still some states that do not have this as a requirement, so you might get away with starting to operate the business without the need of registering yourself anywhere or complying with anybody's or the Department of Health's specific policies, because agencies like this are simply not being regulated yet. On our website, passiveworkforce.com, we do have a whole page dedicated to answering to this question much more in detail. If you are wanting to download our free guide to see if your state requires you to have a license or not, then definitely head over to our page, passiveworkforce.com, and you can register and download the cheat sheet right there. The process to get licensed really depends on each state. I know some people wanting to start travel agencies, they always wonder, do I need to get a license in every single state where I operate? And the truth is that yes, you do. The requirements usually don't change all that much from state to state, but each state does regulate them separately. So if, for example, you are somebody trying to start your business in Florida, but you're also trying to conduct business in California or New York, for example, you do need to look at the different regulations in those separate states and make sure that you're licensed to operate in both or the 3 of them, or whatever you're planning to start in, whatever you're planning to send your staff over. You need to make sure that you're licensed there. Some common requirements are workers' compensation, general liability, policy and procedures, a full application, and a background check on the operator. The next question is, how much money do I need to start? And it is completely normal that if you're trying to start a business, you're worried about the investment. But I have good news for you. In the vast majority of cases, you don't need a lot of money to start the business, but it is gonna depend on the approach that you take. If you're planning to do everything on your own, setting up your own entity, getting your own website, figuring out your own logo, all of the necessary things for you to get started, we're looking at a startup cost of anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000, but it can definitely go up from there depending on what resources you are using to get you started. For example, we have a few different consulting packages that go from $2,000 for a course teaching you how to do things on your own to $15,000 plus if you're needing assistance from our consultants in getting all of the foundation for the business get started. So that just goes to show that depending on the path that you take and depending on your state requirements, you might need different amounts of money. But to be completely honest, based on what I've seen and based on our experience, if you're wanting to get started comfortably, definitely look at anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000. And if you are planning to get very, very, very strategic and very creative, you might be able to get away with doing it with less. The third question is something that worries a lot of people because it can definitely drive the startup cost up. And that is, do I need a physical office space to get started? One of the great things about this industry and starting your own agency is that you are able to do so and operate it completely remotely when you're just getting started. Our recommendation is to save money on this. Make sure that you don't get a physical office space until you start to build a team and your company is actually making money. That's when it usually makes sense for you to start looking at physical office spaces. If it is not something that is mandatory, if it is not something that is required by your state, then definitely avoid getting a physical office from day one. This can definitely increase your startup costs by a lot, and it just doesn't make any sense to make that investment if that is not directly gonna be benefiting your businesses in any way. You know, you paying $3,000, $4,000 for a physical office space does not guarantee any business to your business. So that is something that we recommend you avoid unless, as I mentioned, it is needed and required by your state when you're going through the licensure process. The fourth question is related to the operator themselves. And that is, do I need to be a nurse? Do I need to be a medical professional at all to start this business? The reality is that you do not, unless, yet again, your state requires you to have a supervising RN or something like that. But for the most part, you do not need to have a medical background to get started. Having a medical background is definitely a perk. It's going to allow you to leverage your network and your existing knowledge and put that towards the business. Perhaps you might find the learning curve be a little bit easier to navigate if you already have a medical background, but it is by no means required. And you're definitely able to start your own agency if you are somebody with an administrative background, high HR background, trying to begin their entrepreneurial journey within medical staffing or just staffing in general. If you watch our content, you'll see that a lot of the things that we put out there and a lot of the examples that we give are related to medical professionals starting businesses, because naturally, most people that are trying to get into this industry are medical professionals themselves, but do not feel discouraged if this is a passion that you have and you do not have that background, because resources like we have at Paso Workforce can definitely help you navigate through things and get you started with ease and without really it being a problem that you are not a medical professional and that you don't have an existing network within healthcare. The fifth question is, how long does it take for me to get started? And sadly, just like with a lot of the other questions that I've been answering in this video, it depends on your state, because if you need to get a license, you cannot really control how long it takes the state to approve of your application and get things going. But based on our experience working with clients throughout the entire country, from the moment you decide to get started and you register your business to the moment that you're able to fully operate, you might be looking at a time frame of about 2 to 3 months. That's it for today's video, guys. I hope you found this helpful. If you have any queries yourself, any questions, any concerns that you would like our team to address, definitely leave them in the comment section below. That's gonna allow us to see what type of content you want to see and continue to create this sort of free resources for you to enjoy and help you get started.